The third game in the Batman Arkham trilogy has been announced, releasing on October 25th. Will it be good, living up to the series name, or will it be a piece of crap? What is going on, guys and girls? I am Ghost Robo, and that is what we are here to talk about today. Yes, Batman Arkham Origins has been revealed, announced, unleashed for Wii U, PS3, 360, and PC. October 25th is the launch date. Now, I can see that easily being a crossover title that, simultaneously releases on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox 720 once those are released. Maybe some minimal graphical improvements, maybe some side challenges, who knows. But I would expect this thing to come across the board for everything, especially based on the knowledge that we have, which is that this game is not made by Rocksteady, the Wonder Boy developers that created Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. This has instead been handed over to Warner Brothers. They have taken over the mantle for development, which has me and I think a lot of other people cautious to be optimistic about this third game. Now, it is a prequel to the first two, so we're going back for another origin story of sorts, as you get from the title. Batman seems like a character that doesn't really need much of an origin. Everyone kind of knows about him. It's not something that needs to be fully explored and explained. So I don't think you're going to be playing a kid Batman, but one that has less panache, less confidence, less notoriety than the Batman you see in Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, presumably. The troubling things here are this. So the game is being developed by Warner Brothers, not by Rocksteady, which leads me to believe one of two things. One, Rocksteady had no good creative ideas. They wanted to move on. They weren't interested in making another Batman game, so they passed and Warner Brothers took it over. It hasn't been that short of a time distance. There was only, I believe, 2 years between the first two Arkham titles, or 2.5 years. So this isn't like, it's coming out a year after Batman Arkham City. So there has been a decent amount of time. So potentially development could be good. The other option, though, I foresee is that Warner Brothers and the powers that be didn't want to spend the money on a long development cycle and paying Rocksteady for something truly next gen, so they decided to take it over themselves and do a kind of formulaic sequel. There is a potential third, which is that Warner Brothers had a fantastic idea, so good that it surpassed even what Rocksteady could come up with, and so Warner Brothers decided to do it themselves, although I find that kind of hard to believe. 8 deadly assassins are coming to Gotham, one of them being Deathstroke, and they are going to take on the city itself, presumably, so that Batman can unveil himself and protect the city for the first time. I don't know how far back this is going to go. Arkham Asylum doesn't really set itself up with anything. It's just Batman drives to go meet the Joker at the prison, and that's how things begin. And what I really liked about that game was the very focused narrative. It was Batman versus Joker, and let's get real intimate with that. Let's do audio logs. Let's keep everything condensed in this one locale and kind of make it very atmospheric and make the environment feel kind of alive, like you really were in this place. And even though it wasn't the largest game, spatially, it felt very dense with what they put in there. Arkham City was a good game. I'll set my personal preference aside. I enjoyed the first game more, but Arkham City was still a really good game. Rocksteady did a knockout job and made a very, very, very great Batman title. We're switching developers and most likely retaining majority of the same systems and same things but it just doesn't sound all that interesting to me. Having 8 assassins come to the city and Batman has to take them down. First of all, I don't think Arkham City's strong points was the differences in buildings. It's not like, it was such a grand city, we could explore more of it. And I don't really know, what is a reverted Gotham City that's not Arkham City, but just regular old Gotham City. What is that going to be like? Maybe we can go to an interesting corridor or interesting quarter of the city that's really cool looking, but furthermore, 8 assassins. This isn't 8 villains. Initially when I heard the news, I thought it was 8 villains, and I was like, okay, I will be optimistic. I'll be a positive person on this and say maybe there's 8 cool villains that they're bringing in, and each one will have their own kind of area. And even though it's a little bit formulaic and a little bit expected, we'll have Batman go and take on the Scarecrow, take on Deathstroke, whoever. But no, it's 8 assassins, and that leads me to believe we're gonna get some goofy storyline that isn't really fully fleshed out and mostly a combat simulator. Now, granted, that's just my personal speculation. I have no reason to believe that it's not going to be fantastic, but when you have a change of developer, when you're releasing the third game in a trilogy, and when you default to go back to an origin story instead of progressing the narrative or doing something risky, it leads to bring up quite a few concerns. We've seen a lot of prequels lately. We have the Gears of War Judgment. It's a thing to do. Either do an HD remake or you do a prequel. It seems like when you want to sort of vomit out a title to make some money on a pre-existing property property and a bunch of pre-existing assets. So that is why I have concerns. The hopeful part is that they make this really, really cool. You get to see a more young Batman, maybe a totally different skill set, so we get new powers, a different part of the city. It's not all Arkhamed out, so maybe it's more almost Grand Theft Auto City-esque. There's a lot of cool side missions, and Batman finds himself as he takes down these assassins. A really cool narrative. There's a leader of the assassins, and it all comes together in a beautiful menagerie of Batman love and care. It makes me nervous. So because I'm being kind of critical, I'm going to throw my hat in the ring and give you my brilliant idea for a Batman game, so it's not just like, oh, Ghost, you're just criticizing, what would you do? Well, here's what I'd do. I would make it the first ever hyper-successful AAA villain-centric superhero game. I don't want to play as Batman anymore. We've done that. I don't want to play as some other Justice League, hero in tights. I want to play as a villain. Give us, I don't know who it would be. I don't know who would fit. Bane's probably too button mashy. Joker might be a little too not action enough. I don't know, but give us a villain from the DC universe. Have us play that game. Fine. Keep it open world. Keep it in Gotham. Keep it in Arkham even. Let me take down Batman. Let me take down his crew. And I know that becomes difficult because Batman doesn't really have a crew. He operates independently. But it seems like there would be a way to have a villain wreak havoc upon the city and be the one who's creating this chaos as opposed to preventing it. We're always playing the hero, always playing the good guy. How many games do you get to play the Destructor? And yes, the instant fear is that would turn into some brawler beat 'em up with not a lot of substance. But I bet if you got a maniacal villain from the Batman universe or from the DC universe as a whole, you could come up with a really cool set of gameplay ideas that would be new, fresh, and if nothing else, feel cool to be the bad guy for once. The other piece of information on this is that a studio called Armature Studios, and these are former Retro guys, and you know them from making Metroid Prime and some pretty good games, are making a spin-off game for Vita and 3DS called Batman Arkham Origins Blackgate. And that's going to be released on the same day in October. And it's a Metroidvania 2.5D side-scrolling game. And that sounds really cool. Like a Batman game, a handheld Batman game made by the Metroid Prime guys, ex-Retro people. Like that could be really cool. I think they do a fantastic job with games, guys from Retro, and I think they could do a really nice handheld version. Maintaining the Batman Arkham style and feel, and yet creating something a little bit different, almost Castlevania, Metroid-y. That could be really cool. So frankly, I'm more excited for that handheld port, or that handheld version, I guess, not really a port. And my other thought is like, what was the initial intention when Rocksteady made Batman Arkham Asylum? Were they trying to go with a trilogy, or was it one game and it was such a huge success that they decided to expand upon the universe and create Arkham City, and then now this third game? And based on my just intuition on that, I just worry that this is a milking for money opportunity, that they're like, man, we have Arkham City did so well, they promoted the heck out of that game. And worthwhile, it was good. But I'm just a bit concerned that, they opened it up to open world in Arkham City, so it's going to be open world in Arkham Origins. I'm 95% sure of that. It would seem like a regression to go back to a linear story and linear city. And therefore, the focus is not as much on story. And so if your developing team isn't as strong, that's okay, because now you can make it mechanically driven and make it just a bunch of side missions and sort of this big open world game. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith. I want to have faith, and granted, I'll wait for some gameplay, I'll wait for some trailers, I'll wait for some more information. Saw some pictures of it in this video, the only little bits of details that we have. But what do you guys think? Do you really want more sequels, more third games? I feel like studios need to focus in on creating new IP, especially at this transitional period for new generation. I really don't want to wake up on the morning of launch for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox 720 and find the store shelves filled with Batman Arkham 3, Gears of War 7000, Halo 9. I mean, sure, there are some quality sequels that will be coming on the horizon. I'm sure that Halo 5 will be a really cool game. I'm really looking forward to if there's a BioShock Infinite 2 type sequel. Great, there's some opportunity for sequels, but I fear this environment where it's so driven based on sales and based on sort of this typical pattern of annualized games, the Assassin's Creed syndrome, as I will deem it, because that's the one that has hurt my heart the most in terms of a game that was really good, building upon itself, and then just turned itself into a pile of crap because they want to just milk it. It's Guitar Hero, it's Rock Band, it's Assassin's Creed. Please don't let it be Batman. I'd love to see Arkham Origins be an awesome surprise in October, one of the holiday hits. I'm sure it'll sell like gangbusters. I just hope that there is a solid game there to back it up. But please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Switch to developers, have you worried? A prequel, have you worried? There was talk that it was going to be a Silver Age Batman, totally new art style, totally new look and feel, but clearly either that game got scrapped or that game never existed, and instead we are getting a Warner Brothers developed Batman Arkham Origins coming out this October for every system you could possibly own. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you had fun and are excited or not excited for Arkham Origins. I want to know your thoughts. Till next time, guys and girls, have a fantastic day. Drink some hot chocolate, and we will see you all later.